Hi, I'm Sharon Macklis at IDG Communications, here with episode 53 of Do More with R, make an election map showing winners, losers, and margins of victory. If you're mapping election results of, say, the US presidential election by state, it can make sense to show one color of red for states won by Republicans and one color of blue for states won by Democrats. That's because it doesn't matter whether a candidate wins by 1,000 votes or 3 million. It's winner take all for almost all states. But when I map results of a state election by county or a citywide election by precinct, the margin does matter. It's the overall total that decides the winner. Winning Atlanta itself isn't all you need to know when looking at Georgia statewide results for governor, for example. You'd also want to know how many votes the Democrat won by and compare that to margins in other areas, as Politico is doing here. Here's just a single color, and this shows the margin of victory. You can see the difference. So that's why I like to create maps color-coded by winner and with intensity of color showing margin of victory. That tells you what areas contributed more and less to the overall results. So let's take a look at how we can do this in R. I'll use Pennsylvania 2016 presidential results as an example. In this code, first I load some packages I need: dplyr, glue, scales, HTML tools, SF, and leaflet. I'll also use Rio to import the data.csv file. If you want to follow along, you can download the files at this video's accompanying InfoWorld article. Next, I use SF's st_read function to import a shapefile of Pennsylvania counties. Here's my geospatial data. I don't like that county_NAM column name, so I'll change it to county here. Before I merge my data with my geography, I want to make sure that the county names are the same in both files. dplyr's anti_join function merges two data sets and shows which rows don't have a match. So I'll save that into a data frame called problems and see what happens. Oh, there's one row with a problem. It looks like McKean is a problem. I happen to know that it uses a little c in the other file. So I'll change that from the little c to all caps and then run problems again with anti-join. And now everything is fixed. There are no problem rows. The next line of code here actually merges my data by the county column. Finally, I'm going to make sure that my new geography and data object, PA_map_data, uses the same projection as my leaflet tiles will. Projection is a pretty complex GIS topic. For now, just know that I need this projection here, WGS84. Now that my data is in the shape I need, I have three more tasks: create color palettes for each candidate, create pop-ups for the map, and then code the map itself. I'll start with the palettes here. I'm going to map raw vote differences here, but you might want to use percentage differences instead in your map, depending on what you're trying to see. Let's take a look at what the data is here. I've got county, both candidates, who the winner is, the vote margin, also the percent margin, and percents, which I'm not going to use, but I could. This first line of code uses base R's range function to get the smallest and largest vote differences in the margin column. That's because I want the lightest color to be the smallest number and the darkest color to be for the biggest number, and I need to know what those are. So you can see them here. My smallest is 532. My largest is 475,277, quite a bit of a difference. Next, I create two palettes using the conventional red for Republicans and blue for Democrats. I'm using the same intensity scale for both palettes, lightest for the lowest margin, regardless of which candidate has it, and highest for the highest margin, regardless of candidate. This will give me an idea of where each candidate was strongest on a single intensity scale. I use Leaflet's color numeric function with a palette color of reds or blues. The domain argument gives the minimum and maximum values for the color scale. I'll run those. And you see they actually show up looking like functions in my top right pane in RStudio. This next code group creates two different data frames, one for each candidate, with only the places that candidate won in their data frame. You can see I filter here. I've got a Trump data frame where the winner is Trump, and a Clinton data frame where the winner is Clinton. Having two data sets helps me get fine control over the pop-ups and colors. I can even use different pop-up text for each if I want. My next task is those pop-ups. Here I'm generating some HTML code with the strong tag for bold text and BR tags for line breaks. If you're not familiar with glue, code inside braces like this are variables that are evaluated. So I've got county name followed by the word county, then a line break. Then I lead each pop-up with the winning candidate's name, followed by their vote total, another line break, and the other candidate's name and vote total, and then the number of votes they won the county by. Scales comma adds a comma to numeric vote totals of 1,000 or more, and the accuracy equals 1 makes sure it's a round integer with no decimal points. I pipe that glue text string into HTML Tools' HTML function, which Leaflet needs to display the pop-up text properly. You can see I end up with a list with one item for each county. At last, the map. This code starts with creating a basic Leaflet object without adding data as an argument in the main object. You see Leaflet is empty here. That's because I'm going to be using two different data sets. Next line of code sets the background tiles to Carter DB Positron. That's optional, you can use the default, but I happen to like this style. Then I use Leaflet's add polygons function 2 times, one for each candidate's data frame overlaid onto the same map layer. I set the data for each add polygons to be that candidate's data frame. The fill color argument takes each candidate's palette and applies it to their margin of victory. The pop-up, actually a rollover label, will be that candidate's HTML, which I just created before. The rest is standard design. Stroke sets a borderline around each polygon. Smooth factor is how much to simplify the polygon outline display, and I just copied that value from an RStudio demo map I liked. Fill opacity is what you'd expect. Color is the color of the polygon borderline, not the polygon itself. The polygon's color was set with fill color. Weight is the thickness of the polygon borderline in pixels. So let's run this. And here's my map. Philadelphia is at the bottom right, this very dark area here. That's the 475,000 plus vote margin. You can see just how important it is population-wise compared to all other areas of Pennsylvania that are large on the map but have way fewer people. What might be interesting to map this year is the difference in raw vote margins between 2016 and 2020. That map would show where patterns shifted the most, which might affect final results. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. For more R tips, Head to the Do More with R page at bit.ly/DoMoreWithR, all lowercase except for the R. You can also find the Do More with R playlist on the YouTube IDG Tech Talk channel, where you can subscribe so you never miss an episode. Hope to see you next time. Stay healthy and safe, everyone.